fasting at its core is the lack of doing something. It is to refrain, right? Imsak, to refrain technically from eating, drinking, intimacy from dawn till dusk, but more spiritually, right? To refrain from those things that distract and take a person away from Allah. And so a person can fast, with, what they expose themselves to more generally. In fact, the Prophet ﷺ tells us that a person in a state of fasting should be mindful of those things that interrupt that equilibrium or that state that they're in. So even if a person, or the Prophet ﷺ says a person who's fasting shouldn't, be obscene or shouldn't be inappropriate in terms of how they act and how they speak. And even if a person is trying to instigate a problem with them, trying to rile them up, person is cursing at them or trying to fight with them, then that person should remind themselves, should affirm, inni sa'im, I'm fasting. So it really is this process of, detoxing. It's like this boot camp where you remove certain things from your life. And so we are encouraged and we are invited to think beyond just the physical and think about what else it is that we want to remove and rid ourselves of. The Prophet says, "Man lam yada' qawl az-zur wal 'amala bihi, falaysa lillahi hajatan fi an yada'a ta'amahu wa sharaba." Whoever doesn't refrain from or leave idle or vain speech, speech that is inappropriate, and acting upon it, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has no need for that person to leave their food and drink, which is to say that there is a dimension, there is an element of fasting that goes beyond just, the food, drink, and intimacy. So it's worth thinking about, those things that we want to do away with, rid ourselves of, and remove from our lives, right? Because that bit of removal, that ounce of prevention, so to speak, is better than all the things that we might add on, right? Our journey towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accelerates more by removing the barriers that are between us and Him than by trying to accelerate into these walls that we haven't yet been able to remove. There's a quote, I don't know who said it, but your job is not to seek for love, but to seek and remove all the barriers you've set up against it. So that's the idea, right? When you remove those things that stand between you and Allah, when you kind of detox and you cleanse yourself of those influences, then you really find that relationship growing.